Dave Lorenz along with Michelle Banache, and I cannot believe this program today has gone so fast.
It really has.
Must be the season.
It is the season, and speaking of the season,
yes.
Time for people to start thinking about getting their Christmas trees. So we are talking with Marsha Gray, Executive Director of the Michigan Christmas Tree Association. Did I say that right, Marsha?
Yes, you did.
Perfect. Well, tell us about, when should people start thinking and looking for their tree?
Well, it's really a personal preference. What's interesting is the industry has, we start earlier every year because consumers want their trees earlier every year. It used to be the rare family that would go out Thanksgiving weekend. It was just kind of the warm-up. Now Thanksgiving weekend is huge. People are out there getting trees right now.
Well, we always do Thanksgiving weekend. And, of course, this year with Thanksgiving having come so early, I'm just kind of wondering if that tree is going to last, but we'll ask you about some of those tips on how to keep your Christmas tree fresh a little bit in a couple minutes.
Alrighty.
Just kind of wondering, this season with that warm, hot spell that we had and all those problems that we had with the hot and then the cold and all that, what did that do to the Christmas tree crop this year?
Well, it's an excellent question, and I do get that quite a bit. It did obviously impact us. It really was more the heat than the drought. But really what's interesting, the tree that you harvest this year or for the next 5 or 6 years, those trees are mature enough that they handle drought. They handle heat. The trees in your lawn didn't die probably, so our Christmas trees react very much the same way. Where the growers are challenged when we have that kind of heat and dry weather is the new seedlings, the new babies that we planted this spring. And we did take a hit there, I will say, and sadly we lost an awful lot of seedlings. More and more of our growers do irrigate, so that kept some of those seedlings going and kept them safe. But it will just mean that the next year our growers will have to plant more. I suspect that a lot of them will be looking for larger transplants to try to make up that time. We do have about 8 years to get the tree to harvestable size. So the hope is that over that 8-year period we get enough good growing seasons and we start out with some good stock that we can make up that difference. And in 8 years you'll never know that we had a drought.
Well, I think a lot of people know that Michigan is the second most diverse agricultural state in the country, behind California. So it's really important that we grow so many a great variety of produce and fruits and vegetables and all that. But people may not think about how important the Christmas tree production business is to the state. Can you give us a feeling for how important it is?
Yeah, it's first of all, Michigan is the third largest producer of Christmas trees, which means we're an export state. We grow here, but we ship our trees to all corners of the U.S., primarily the eastern half of the U.S. And we haven't done a new survey in a number of years, but the estimated wholesale value is well over $40 million every year. And this tends to go to, those dollars tend to go to rural communities, and we're employing people in rural areas. So it's very important to Michigan's economy.
So how far are the Christmas trees that are grown here? How far are they shipped? Are they shipped like all over the country, or is it mostly in the Midwest?
They will go all over the country. Our biggest markets, I would say, would be down to Florida, down to Texas, and everywhere in between. The furthest eastern part of the U.S. is served quite a bit by Canada and also by North Carolina. But we do ship trees to the east, the East Coast. But really, if you looked at a map of the United States, they usually say, take a look at the map. If Michigan was the star in the tree, you draw the tree lines down to Florida and Texas, and that's really our primary market.
Wow. Well, if you have, I'm thinking if people have not gone to a U-pick operation for several years, they might be surprised at the different experience that's available today at most of the Michigan Christmas tree growers. When you go to get a Christmas tree today, it's not just going there, picking a tree, cutting it up. There's so many other things. Can you give us a feeling for that?
You really nailed it right on the head. So many people are getting really excited about going out, with the apple orchards or pumpkin patches or berry picking, and Christmas tree farms are a natural extension of that this time of year. And yes, you can come out and harvest your tree and get it wrapped up, but you're right, families come out because we have hay rides and hot chocolate, and quite often there's a petting zoo, maybe Santa visits. There are a lot of activities around the farm, so it's more than just go get your tree. It's really a fun day with your family. And later we're going to talk a little bit about our website. You can look up the farms to get, number one, a really good map, because we're generally not on the main roads, and you want to get there safely. But then also you can learn about what you're going to find at that farm, so you know what to expect, and you'll know if they've got a hay ride because the kids want to go on a hay ride, or you know if they've got a petting zoo because the kids want to see a baby pig.
And, talk about, how far away how many Christmas tree farms are there? It seems like wherever you're at in Michigan, you're probably not too far away from a Christmas tree farm.
That's true. You're right. Wherever you are, you're within a short drive. What's sort of interesting when you look at our Choose and Cut Christmas tree map, we're a little thin in Wayne County, but I'm joking, but all surrounding the southeast Michigan area, you will find plenty of Choose and Cut farms, and then scattered all throughout the state. So you're right. You really don't have to go far to find one.
Yeah, I suppose in the cities there aren't a lot of Christmas tree you-pick operations, but of course there are all the lots that have the Christmas trees for sale. Are there any tips that you can give us, especially in a situation like that, where you go to a lot that has pre-cut trees? What are you looking for to make sure you get a fresh tree?
Really what's so important is to touch the branches. Usually what I recommend someone do is just sort of gently, you don't have to squeeze it, but just grasp the branch, pull it through your hand. Every tree, it's just a natural process, will have a couple of brown needles on it, and those brown needles will come off, and that's fine. But if green needles are coming away in large numbers, the tree might have started out dry. You probably don't want to select it. Or if you feel it and it just doesn't have kind of a supple feel to it, you may want to move on. Now, you have to remember, different trees will feel differently. Spruces are naturally a sharper needle.
No,
they're
those
a little,
buggers.
A little more pickly.
Ugh.
So when you draw your hand on that, you might think, oh, that's dry. It may just be the fact that it's a spruce. You really want to look for, if you're dropping green needles in large numbers before you even get it home, that's not the tree to select. Every tree will drop a few, but that's the easiest tip right there.
And what about once you get it home? How do you keep it fresh?
The most important thing, and we emphasize this year after year, give it a fresh cut. They will typically do it right there at the tree lot for you. You want a nice fresh cut so the tree can take up water, and then get it into water right away. It does not have to have an additive or a preservative, just good old water, and keep the water level above the base of that trunk at all times. If it goes dry, the tree is going to seal off, and it will not take water up again for the rest of the season. So it's cheap. Water is free. It's just a little bit of attention every day.
I finally got smart, because we get those spruce that just poke at you so much. So I finally started using those elbow-high leather gloves that I use for wood stove preparation and such. For some reason, the season seems to be much happier for me that way.
Yes.
It just is.
And I bet your family appreciates that too.
Yes, there's less bad words coming out at the holiday season, because, man, that can be pokey.
Yeah.
So other things that people might be looking for this time of year, in addition to trees, the wreaths and the poinsettias and all that, are you likely to find them at Christmas tree farms?
You will definitely find the wreaths, the greenery, boughs, all kinds of materials like that. But I'm glad you mentioned poinsettias, because we are working on a partnership with the poinsettia growers here in the state of Michigan. And yes, we do grow them. I believe they rank about 6th in production.
It's amazing how important all those products are.
You don't think about it, but it does matter. And to ask for a Michigan-grown poinsettia, you are supporting a neighbor. You're supporting your own economy, and they are available all over. But most of our farms will not carry those because they need to be in a warm climate.
Fantastic. And in fact, you can go to mcta.org for more information. Thanks to Marsha Gray from the Michigan Christmas Trees Association. And thank you for joining us, too. We'll talk to you next week right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at michigan.org.